Hello students, welcome to the answer writing program. Today we will be discussing 3 questions, 2 questions from this GS3 agriculture part and from this topic and one from the current affair. The topic would be issues related to direct and indirect farm subsidies, MSP, PDS system, issues of buffer stock, food security, technology missions and economies of animal rearing. So let's take an overview of all the 3 questions. The first one is related to the PDS system, the second one is related to the nutritional as well as the food security, and the third one is related to farming 3.0. So let's start one by one. The first question is, explain the rationale and functioning of the PDS. Do you think that India needs to revisit the PDS system? If yes, what changes do you suggest? So, the question is demanding, first the question is all about the PDS system. The first thing the question is demanding about the rationale. The second is how the PDS functions, means the functioning of the PDS. Then third, it is asking, is there any need to revamp this? If your answer is yes, you need to put some arguments. So let's see the intro, what we can write. In introduction, you can start with the definition and the objective of the PDS, Public Distribution System. You can write that it is the government run or the government implemented program to ensure food security. How? By providing food items and non-food items to the vulnerable section or the economically disadvantaged groups at subsidized rate, highly subsidized rates. So this is the definition of the PDS. Then you can directly write rationale, then functioning and then revamping. Let's see all these 3 parts in the body. The first one is the PDS system ensures the food security. How? Because it ensures the food supply at affordable rate, even at the time of exigencies, emergencies, some shortages, some inflation. So the food security has 3 aspects: availability of the food, affordability and accessibility. So this ensures all the 3 aspects. The second one is it ensures the poverty alleviation. PDS system reduces the poverty and hunger by providing the essential food items and the non-food items at the highly subsidized rate, and the target especially BPL families and the Antyodaya Ann Yojana households. So this is there. The next is buffer stock management. How? Because this PDM system requires the buffer management. So via this buffer management, they ensures the supply to the market at the time of the shortages or to meet the exigencies. Next is price stabilization. How price stabilization? As the system is having the aspect of the buffer stock management. So they can release the food items from this buffer at the time of the shortages or at the time of inflation to increase the supply, so as to stabilizes the prices. Next is it reduces the regional disparities. How? Because this PDS system procures the food items from the surplus states like Punjab, Haryana, etc. and equitable distribution of these food items across India. So it reduces the regional disparities in food availability. So next move on to the functioning of PDS, how this PDS system works. First, there is farmer, then there is beneficiary like BPL household or any other person. So in this whole supply chain, who all stakeholders comes in place? Central government, state government, then fair price shops or the ration shops. So the central government via Food Corporation of India, the governmental body of central government, this central government procures the food grains at MSP. Then the central government transports and sells to state government at central issue price. This state government then transports this food grains to the fair price shops, and now this central government bears the transportation cost. Then FSPs sells it to the beneficiaries at highly subsidized rate. So sometimes state government also gives subsidy more above this CIP prices. So it is less than equals to CIP. Why this less? Because state government also provides subsidy. So this is the whole functioning of the PDS. Now let's see where are some issues in the PDS system. That is why there is a need to revamp. The first one, there is a problem at this procurement stage. What is the procurement? The procurement is open-ended. Means there is no limit that how much the central government could procure from the farmer. So it increases the economic cost of food grains to the central government. Second, so what is the suggestion in regarding this? So Niti Aayog is saying that stop this open-ended and start using close procurement. And instead of procuring, try some other scheme like government is doing PM Asha. In this, there is the aspect of price deficiency payment system, price support system. And Niti Aayog is also saying that this procurement should not only be limited to rice and wheat. Instead, it should be diversified. So this is the problem here and this is the solution. Now next comes the transportation issues and the storage issues with the central government. So central government and state government have storage issues. They do not have that much capacity or the warehouses to store this. That is why you have seen in the news that wheat and rice are getting rotten. So for storage, what can be the solution? The solution can be we should promote the private investments to make the warehouses, to make the storage capacity. Next comes is this transportation leakages and this fair price shops hoarding. There are instances that this transport, instead of going to fair price shops, this get diverted to the open market. So this scheme do not benefits the identified beneficiaries. So what is the solution for this transportation leakages? We should tag the GPS along these trucks so that they should be tracked. We should also do the computerization of the FPS, that how much is the stock, how much new stocks is coming, how much they are giving to the beneficiaries, so that all the data should be there, so that they cannot hoard the food grains. Next comes at the beneficiary level. What is the issue? There are some inclusion and exclusion errors. Sometimes eligible people who really want these food grains to come out of their poverty trap and to reduce the hunger aspect, but they are not in the list of this system. And sometimes ineligible people who are rich, they are incorporated into this list. So there are inclusion and exclusion system. What is the solution? The solution is merging or integrating ration card with Aadhaar card, or there should be digitization of all the records of all the ration holders or the who are the beneficiaries of the PDS system. So this way whole system is working. And one more issue is there. First, due to the open-ended procurement, high MSPs and many beneficiaries are there. So this increases the overall economic cost to government, puts the fiscal burden on the central government. So Niti Aayog is also saying that we should reduce it to the closed and we should limit it to some level of the procurement, like approximately 60% of what we are doing right now. Do not procure everything. And the next thing is, Niti Aayog is also suggesting that we should revise this CIP also, because it has not been revised since so long, so as to remove or reduce the fiscal burden on the central government. So this is the functioning. These are some issues, and we have also discussed about how the recommendations or the suggestions by Niti Aayog or otherwise have helped in taking measures along those challenges. Then finally comes to the conclusion. Conclusion, we can write that there should be the periodic review and the reforms should be there, so that there should not be inclusion exclusion errors, so that as to reduce the financial burden on the central government, and this requires the consultative approach with the multiple stakeholders. So this way you can conclude your answer. Let's take an overview of this model answer, starting with the definition of the PDS system, rationale behind the PDS, then functioning, then there is a need to revisiting because there are some issues, and recommendations. So we have discussed everything. Finally, concluding with the consultative approach, we should do some reforms and the reviewing of the overall implementation of the PDS. Next comes to the second question. Whilst India has successfully achieved the target of food security, however, there are the issues of the nutritional security. What, according to you, should be some steps that India needs to take to ensure its nutritional security in the near future? So, question is saying that India has achieved the food security, but there are some concerns regarding the nutritional security. So, we have to write the measures to tackle this nutritional security. In introduction, you can write about the definition of the food security, or you have some data that how much this percent of the population has the easily access available and the affordability of the food grains and etc. So, starting with the food security definition, that Food and Agriculture Organization have said that when all the people should have access, physical plus economic access at all the times to safe, secured and nutritious food. So this is food security. So although India has achieved the food security, there are some concerns regarding the nutritional security. So this way you can write the introduction. Next comes the body. India's food and nutritional status, you can write just in a small 2 to 3 lines that with regarding to the food security, India has taken advances via Green Revolution, public distribution system and the National Food Security Act. With respect to the nutritional security, according to National Family Health Survey 5th edition, approximately 15.3% of the population who is undernourished. And according to the Food and Agriculture Organization's report, the state of food security and nutrition in the world 2021, the sayings are that India has the largest stunted and the wasted children which are below the 5 years of the age. Stunted approximately 30% and wasted approximately 17%. So this way you can tell that yes, there is the food security but concerns about the nutritional security by quoting some data in the introduction. Next comes the measures for the nutritional security. The first one is food fortification. Food fortification means the addition of the nutrients and the enrichment of the nutrients on the already provided cereals or the grains. Like government has come up with the fortified rice. And government is also saying that whenever they will deliver via PDS, targeted PDS, midday meal, Poshan Abhiyan, integrated child development system, Wherever the government is delivering the rice, it will be the fortified rice. Then diversification of the diet, so that the wholesome diet should be consumed, like fruits, vegetables, animal products, etc. Then next is crop diversification. How this diversification of diet should be promoted? By diversifying the crop. Instead of going to rice, wheat, cane dominated structure, we should promote oilseed, pulses, millets, coarse grain, etc., which are nutritious. And MSP rationalization with regard to the rice, wheat. Then comes the supplementation. Supplementation is a solution or the measure against this nutritional security in a short term by directly doing the consumption of pills, tablets and the syrups of nutritious like folic acid, iron pills, etc. Then comes the integrated approach, community-based management of acute malnutrition. So at the community level, people will come together to identify and address this concern. Then comes the food processing and the storage. Via food processing and the storage, it reduces the food wastage. It increases the shelf life. So this way, we can reduce the food shortages or the food insecurity issues and the food inflation. Then finally, it comes general awareness. General awareness promoting amongst the public so as to take the maximum benefits via this crop diversification, so as to diversify their diet, so as to consume maximum nutritious food and to take the wholesome diet. In conclusion, you can write the summary that yes, food security is ensured, but we have to take steps above steps for the nutritional security, or you can quote some suggested measure like we have to move to the sustainable agricultural practices so as to ensure the food security in the long term and also the nutritional security. Let's take an overview of this model answer. First is FAO definition of the food security, status, then measures needed to ensure the nutritional security, and finally the conclusion. Let's move on to the third question. Farming 3.0 is changing the narrative around the agriculture from subsistence to sustainability. Discuss. So the question is asking about subsistence to sustainability and the role of farming 3.0. So before moving on to this particular question, we should be aware that what is farming 1.0, what is farming 2.0, and then we can take this farming 3.0 and we'll tell that how this is taking the advancement from the subsistence to the sustainability. So the farming 1.0 is the subsistence agriculture, which is this thing. Manual labors were there, very less, or the not availability of the technological advancements, very less productivity. So the farmers used to grow the crops just for their own sustenance. Then comes the farming 2.0. It is the agricultural transformation, as we have seen in the Green Revolution. With the advancement of the technologies like high yield varieties, mechanization of the agriculture, etc., it has substantially increased or boosted the crop productivity. Now, the farmer, instead of just for the sustenance, they are selling in the market and ensuring the food security of the nation also. The third step or the paradigm shift is now the sustainable agriculture or the farming 3.0 or the agriculture 3.0. Now what is this? We have to increase the crop productivity, also balancing the environmental conservation. So now we are more focusing on the sustainability of the food security, sustainability of the environment, better resource utilization, integrated pest management, very little use of the chemical fertilizers, making more and more uses of the organic farming, taking maximum advantages from the new technologies like IoT, artificial intelligence, data-driven methods, etc., smart irrigation. so as to ensure the sustainability in the agriculture, health and nutrition. So this is farming 3.0. So let's start with the introduction. In introduction, you can write the definition of 3.0, whatever we have discussed, or you can write some problems highlighted by the Dalwai panel, that there are some issues of high input cost, very less productivity and very few or the weakened market linkages. So this farming 3.0 with the disruptive technologies can change the scenario. So this way you can start the introduction. Then comes the body. We have to write the features of the farming 3.0, then only we can make the fulfillment to the demand, that how it is going to subsistence to sustainability. First is farming 3.0 is focusing, or the core principle is the sustainability. Sustainability in the agricultural practices. As we have discussed, government is also focusing on the organic farming, natural farming, zero budget natural farming. So there should be very less or the no usage of the chemical fertilizers, so as to prevent soil erosion, soil degradation, and to promote the soil fertility, etc. Then very less water usage, or the water use efficiency should be enhanced to maintain the sustainability via smart irrigation method, micro irrigation method, drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, so as to increase the water use efficiency. Next is integrated pest management. Means instead of putting the pesticides, can make use of the natural or the good insects or the natural predators to take control of the pests. Then next come is farming 3.0 is technologically integrated. How? We are focusing on the precision farming. Precision farming means taking the precise decisions, data driven decisions, like GIS enabled imageries. They are sending via remote sensing to the farmers that these are some pictures. This shows the soil moisture level, crop management system is there, and water requirement. Everything can be visible from these imageries or the images of the GIS system. So, and the remote sensing system, remote sensors are there, or the sensors are there for the irrigation facilities. It checks the soil moisture, the requirement of the crops to get the water or the weather. So according to all this data, these sensors do the irrigation. Then technologically integration in all the aspect with respect to the forward linkage and the backward linkages in all the aspects. So it will boost the market linkages also via ENAM. Then comes the crop diversification, crop rotation, so as to increase the soil fertility, growing of the legumes with the cereals. Then climate resilient crops should be grown, like the drought resilient crops, new seeds. Then comes the extension services. Make aware the farmers regarding what's demand in the market, to share the knowledge, to upgrade the skills of the farmer so as to take the maximum advantages of the new technologies. So these are the features of the farming 3.0. In the conclusion, we should write that this transition from subsistence to sustainability, this requires education, training, hand-holding support to the farmer. This may require huge investments, and there should be the resource barriers to the new technologies from the side of the small and the marginal farmers who do not have such a huge resource base. So in this scenario, government should handhold these small and the marginal farmers so as to ensure that these farmers also can take benefits from the new technology advancements and also promote the sustainability in the agricultural practices. Now let's see the model answer. Starting with the farming 3.0, Dalwai panel, what they are suggesting, and then features of farming 3.0, and finally concluding. So this way, this completes the discussion of all the three questions. Thank you and have a nice day.